Hey everyone, take a look at the new Chelsea pack on eFootball. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about particular players, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. Let's start with the goalie and we'll work our way up the pitch. So we've got Robert Sánchez. He's an attacking goalkeeper. He's got a face scan. He's massive. He's about 6'5", 6'5", 6'6", something like that. Big dude. Only standard form. Got low punt. It would be nice if everyone's by the goalie skills, but low punt, I think most people would agree that's probably the most important one. Certainly the most popular one. Distribution attribute is not looking too great though, but yeah, let's jump over to the eFootball Hub and we'll have a look at how well this Robert Sánchez card trains up. So, all maxed out and boosted up. He's kind of solid, not amazing. So obviously the awareness hitting 90 is nice. Reflex is just shy of 90, but reach, I think you can certainly get away with that reach. He's a big dude, 197 centimeters. What's it saying for his arm coverage? Yeah, just shy of 180, so he's got pretty good reach on him. He's a reachy, rangy guy. Coverage of his goals can be fine with 86 reach, but the catching's not brilliant. The parrying is dodgy, so yeah, those rebound goals are going to be a big risk with this guy. But a couple of previous versions of him, they're both in Premier League packs. One when he was at Brighton, one since he's been at Chelsea. They're both fairly similar to this one. Not a massive difference with either of them, really. The stats are kind of shuffled around a little bit. In terms of the way they're boosting from his GP guard, nothing really stands out, to be honest. So, yeah, you've got a solid keeper. The stats don't overly excite me, but he is a big dude. Like I say, he's very tall. He's got long arms. So, he could do a job for you, but I think that's what you're looking at. If you're quite new to the game, you don't have many goalkeeper options, he could definitely be a solid option for you for the time being. If you've got a real any top goalkeepers by this point, like I always say, you know, whether it's Schmeichel, Czech, Buffon, whoever, you're not really going to need this guy in general, but for the English League Challenge, he could be a solid option to have. He's not outstanding, but he's solid. He's got good reach. The awareness and reflexes are fairly good. It's just the catching and parrying a bit iffy, but outside of that, big and tall, good coverage of his goal, and he might be an amazing keeper, but he could be a solid one. It could be, like I say, a good option for that English League Challenge, if nothing else. And just before I forget, I almost forgot to do it, but on these trainable goalies, you do obviously get 4 points in aerial. They always go 4 in aerial, so we could increase something. I think the obvious one to increase is probably reflexes. It'd be nice to get the parrying up by 1, but yeah, I think I'll go for reflexes first. Get that reflex to the 90 mark, 1 point spare. I would stick on his passing personally. It's not great. So yeah, not a massive difference there, but it's nice to nudge that reflexes just up slightly. Like I say, the jumping, I always take those 4 points over aerial. We know from Player of the Week that they don't consider jumping to be too important on the goalkeeper. I don't think it's anywhere near as important as these core goalie attributes down the middle. So yeah, like I say, it's not an amazing keeper. If nothing else, it could be a nice solid option for the English League Challenge if you're not getting any other goalkeepers in form in any given week. And yeah, he's a big dude, good coverage of his goal. Yes, the catching's a bit iffy, the parrying's pretty poor. But apart from that, yeah, he's a solid goalkeeper option. I think could be worth keeping hold of for a lot of people. We'll move on to our defenders now. We'll look at Wesley Fofana, build-up centre-back. He's got a face scan, about 6'3", only standard form. Skill-wise, not got too many. We've got some of the most important ones though. We've got heading and aerial, and then we've got man marking, interception, acrobatic clearance. I think if you're going to put skills on him, I would start with blocker, and then probably fighting spirit. I think you're pretty well sorted then, but yeah, he's got a pretty good section to start with. Just I think blocker's a bit of a miss, and fighting spirit he could do with. But yeah, let's jump over to eFootball Hub and we'll train this guy up. So how good is this Fofana card? He's pretty solid. So down the middle, very strong, looking nice down there. Down the left, not brilliant, but not terrible either for a centre back. Pace decent for a centre back. Jumping is good. Physical contact's the one attribute really that concerns me a bit. I always say it. Physical contact is important on centre back. It's always been important, but especially since the big update last year, you do need physical strength on your players. So for a centre back, I think that's a bit on the low side. Can you spare any points? So I always say this. You've got to keep in mind with the way they allocate points in groups of 4. Those last 2 increases on defending cost 4 points each. That's not efficient for me. If you take those last 2 off, that's 8 points you free up, and you're still 90 plus on all your defensives. I'll go straight onto aerial. There you go. So you go up +1 on aerial, we get to 86, and when you get to that 86 mark fully boosted, we'll just take away the game plan boost momentarily. See, it's at 84. For an 88 rated manager, which is what most people are using at this point, you go from +2 to +3 when you hit 85. If you've got an 89 rated manager and there's only one that's soul back and on out wide, then 84 is a mark. But for most people, you hit 85. You go +2, so we go from 86 to 88 fully boosted there. Jumping's at the 96. What's the vertical reach on it? 282. That's a good vertical reach. So a lot of people spamming crosses at the moment. This guy could be pretty decent in the air, you know. That's a good vertical reach, 282. Got 96 jumping on in there. So yeah, I would definitely build him like that. Got 2 points spare actually. If you really wanted to use this guy to combat cross spammers, you could put another 2 on goalkeeper 1 there. Get his jumping up to 98, 283.5 centimeters. That's a good vertical reach on a centre back. Good defensive attributes, decent enough pace. Physical contact might not be amazing, but you can get away with that for sure. Yeah, that could be an interesting centre back. Like I say, I would put 1 or 2 skills on him, but he's got most of the important ones. He's pretty solid looking. We've only had one previous version of Fofana. I think it was in a Chelsea Arsenal Derby pack ages ago. This is a definite upgrade on that version. From his GB cards, a pretty mixed boost they've done. Stamina's had a very nice boost. They've really boosted his stamina quite a bit, and his jumping's had a decent boost, so that explains why his jumping's so great. I wouldn't say it wasn't particularly good normally, but certainly they've boosted it so it's even better than normal. So yeah, like I say, I would build him, I think, pretty much just like that. Down the middle, spot on, looking strong there. Like down the left, like I say, I mean, those last 2 points on goalkeeper 1, you could actually put maybe some passing there, but maybe if you find it, you know, you'd like to get the low pass to 70, you could do that. I wouldn't be against doing that, but yeah, with the way a lot of people are spamming cross at the moment, whether it's Jan Koller, Lorenzo, Luca, Showtime Nunez, whoever it is, it's a lot of people are doing it at the moment. So to have a centre back who's not just competent but quite pretty strong down the middle with his core defensive attributes, he's got most of the skills he needs, and of course you can put skills on his cards. Decent pace, pretty much where you need him to be, just about everywhere really, but especially with that vertical reach and over 280. Yeah, I think people might not pay too much attention to this guy. He might just take one look and think, yeah, he's a solid centre back. With that vertical reach on him though, I think it could be a very decent one to pick up. So yeah, as with all these cards, of course, you've got the option of using them in the English League Challenge, so that they've got that use at least, if nothing else. But this guy in general might be on the top tier, you know, in the top tier of centre backs, but with that vertical reach alongside everything else being at least decent, I think it could be a very interesting option. So if you spin this pack and you get this guy, it could be well worth keeping hold of this card. And our other centre back in this pack is Levi Colwill. Is it Levi or Levy? Levi Colwill. Build up centre back. It's got a face scan. 6'1", 6'2", not massive, fairly average height for a centre back, I'd say. Unwavering form in this guy. He's a lefty, left-footed build up. Looks somewhat uncommon. Skill-wise, right. So this is the one card in this pack where they have actually made a bit of a change to his profile, and that's in terms of his skills. No one's had any changes with their positions or play styles, but skill-wise, this is the one card where they've made changes. And what they've done is they've added low lofted pass, fighting spirit, and blocker. So some good additions there, especially blocker. So that's interesting. They beefed this guy up with his skills a bit. So man mark, insertion, blocker, slide and tackle, fighting spirit. He's got aerial superiority. I think as a centre back, if you wanted the complete set, all you really need is heading and acrobatic clearance. Acrobatic clearance is a good one to have. Heading, I'm not sure how important that is. His heading doesn't look amazing though, so yeah, you might want to give him heading. So you're heading and acrobatic clearance, but then one touch pass, through passing, low lofted pass, nice. You can have some nice passing on this guy. His low pass is already at 73, lofted at 68 at level 1 is not bad for a centre back. So yeah, this guy's looking interesting, but let's train him up on eFootball Hub. Let's see how good he actually is. So maxed out, boosted, yeah, he's decent. So not too dissimilar to Fofana, to be honest. You know, he got decent pace. The defensives are all 90 plus. Physical strength I'd like a bit more, but it's decent enough, certainly. Jumping at 90. That passing, like I say, is decent for a centre back. Looking quite interesting, this Colwill card, and he's got a pretty good selection of skills as well. So yeah, again, defending, they've gone all the way up to 13 on auto allocation, but if you take one off there, you're going to go below 90 on defensive engagement. Do you want to do that? For efficiency, you could do, and it might be a smart thing to do, but do you need to beef him up anywhere else? I think it would just be the physical contact, really. I think you basically got a choice. Do you want to leave all your core defensives at 90 plus, or do you want to dip below 90 on engagement and go 90 plus in your physical contact? I'm not sure it makes a massive difference either way, really. I don't think there's any desperate need to hit the 90 mark on anything. I think on the whole, this guy's looking pretty solid. What did I just do there? Yeah, he's looking pretty solid. There's nothing you desperately need to do with skills. And I would leave the build pretty much as it is. Like I say, you could be hitting the 90 mark in engagement, or you could nick that one and go to 90 physical contact. I don't think it makes a massive difference. I think he's got just about everything he needs. The vertical reach on this guy is not the same as Fofana, 275, so he's not brilliant in terms of his aerial prowess, but he's not weak either. He should be fine. very aggressive at 96 for aggression, but yeah, the awareness and tackling in the 90s, decent pace. I mean, there's no weakness there. This looks like a solid card. I picked up a previous version of this guy. There was a highlight that was originally in some kind of legend box, but he ended up in the point store as well, so a lot of us probably picked that card up. It's not quite as good as this one overall, but the points are shuffled around a little bit. There's one that was in some kind of, I think it was in a Showtime pack, same overall rating, but again, the kind of attributes kind of shuffled around a little bit. He's actually had a Player of the Week card as well. It was a left back, defensive forward playing style. It was better as a left back, as you'd probably expect. Fairly similar overall as a centre back, but this one's better in the more important areas, the kind of core defensives and stuff. But speaking of left back, he can play left back, so if we train him as a left back, is he any good? He could be usable, actually. He could be usable. So the speed's great. I mean, that's absolutely fine as a left back. Acceleration is a bit iffy, though, and low balance. You always get that when you train a centre back as a full back. But he's got good physical strength. The defences are really good for a full back. Stamina's good. On the ball, I think it's just another one of these cards where if you like having a kind of auxiliary centre back, wide of your kind of orthodox centre backs, in those cases, people don't tend to mind that kind of fullback being poor on the ball. He is poor on the ball, so you will have to be careful with that. But if you don't mind that, that won't be a problem for you. The passing is actually fine. 79 low pass. He's got one touch pass, through passing, low lofted pass as well. So the passing on it for this guy would be fine, I think, as a fullback. So you've definitely got an option. I think the acceleration is the one thing that concerns me. He's definitely going to be a defensive fullback, and you'd probably want to put the defensive instruction on him if you play him there. Could he make him any better in certain areas? You can nick one off lower body there. The acceleration is what's worrying me. There's not a lot you can really do. I think the only thing you could really do if you really wanted a bit more acceleration, you can nick a couple off defending, but would you want to do that if you're going to use him as a defensive fullback? Probably not. I think you probably want to just leave it like that, roughly like a 1 point spare. Where's that going to go? You can nick one off aerial and get one extra on dexterity, actually. Yeah, I think he's very usable as a defensive fullback. If you play him as a defensive fullback on the left there, put a defensive instruction on him. Acceleration and balance, bit of a concern. Not great on the ball, but as a real defensive fullback, like I say, a kind of auxiliary centre back, as a lot of people like to have. I think he could definitely do a job. Could be handy enough there. Good defensive skills. He's got the passing skills as well. Could be a very decent option there. But for most people, I will just leave him back on his auto allocation to finish up. Whether you leave him like that, whether you nick a point from defensives and go dip below 90 on engagement to hit 90 physical contact, not a massive difference either way. You could do it either way, but I think the auto allocation is pretty much fine. You've got a solid centre back there. You might not have the vertical reach of Fofana, but I think with both of these centre backs, you've got a tidy card for the English League Challenge. Could be a very decent option. The one that I got from the point store is not quite as good as this, but he's been fine for me in the English League Challenge. So I think for the English League Challenge, just like Fofana, you've got a decent option there, and even beyond that, he looks like a fairly tidy card. So it could be a very decent centre back for a lot of people, or left back, or maybe even defensive mid. I forgot about that. You can train him for defensive mid. Should you have a quick look at that? Defensive mid, yeah, same as fullback really. So that compared to the fullback build, we just got a bit less pace and a bit more as defensives. If you went down to 8 on defending, can you make him half decent on the ball? Passing is important now. You could get away with him as defensive mid. Are you going to do that? Is it worth using the position trainer? I mean, he's got one touch pass and through passing. He's got the defensive skills. You don't really need any skills on this guy as a defensive midfielder, to be honest. So you're sorted with skills. You just need those position trainers. You could get away with it. He's not going to be nice on the ball with that ball control and the dribbling. He's not going to be too comfortable in possession. Passing, even with the passing skills, a bit iffy, but defensively strong, physically quite strong. Speed and stamina decent. Yeah, you got an option. I'm not sure many people are going to look at this guy as defensive mid. Just going to show you that because just for the sake of seeing what you can do with this guy if you wanted to do it. So if defensive midfielder, possibly if you really wanted to do that, it could be an option for you. But yeah, as a left back, could be a defensive left back, can certainly do a job for you that way. But as a centre back, like I say, you got this guy and Fofana, 2 centre backs in this pack who for the English League Challenge could be good options, and in general could be well worth having. Could be decent centre backs for a lot of people. Both these guys. And we've got one fullback in this pack. It's Reece James. He's an attacking fullback. He's a right back. He's got a face scan on his standard form. He's got a few positions there. Right back, right midfield. Can play centre back or defensive mid apparently as well. We'll have a quick look at that. Skill-wise, pretty well equipped. The most important was on attacking fullback. I'd say pinpoint crossing, going forward, interception defensively. Beyond that, he's got a lot of skills. Could do with maybe one or two more defensive skills. Man marking and blocker. I like both of those on a fullback. And then going forward, maybe he's one touch pass through pricing, but he's got quite a few skills there. Some handy ones: soul control, outside curler, and like I say, pinpoint crossing and interception arguably the two most important ones on an attacking fullback. But let's train him up on eFootball Hub. Let's see how good this Reece James card is. He's pretty decent looking. Definitely got a lot of qualities, this guy. I've got a previous version. The only real concern is his balance is a bit low. And you can feel a little bit clunky. He's quite a big, heavy guy for an attacking fullback. I do feel that myself when I've used that version of him that I've got. There's been a few versions of Reece James. There was a Player of the Week card that goes to a kind of similar level to this one, similar overall ability. Bit more low and lofted pass on this Player of the Week card, but this one's got a bit more speed. There was one there was a previous Chelsea pack a long time ago, but the Reece James card, and that wasn't as good as this one. That card hasn't quite stood the test of time so well. But he's had a few other highlight cards, which I think all of them are non-name contracts, to be honest. I think there's one in the new captains pack ages ago. There's a club icons one is the one I've got, one other one as well, and all those nominate contract ones, they all go to around about the same level in terms of overall ability, but they've all had the stats kind of shuffled around slightly in different ways. So yeah, if you got one of those, you probably don't need this one. Just depends. Maybe this one's got one or two attributes slightly higher. If they're really important attributes to you, you might prefer this one. But overall, about the same as those nominate contract versions that we've had of him. From his GP card, almost everything's been boosted by 3 at level 1. Jumping's only gone up by 2 for some reason. The only thing that's gone up by higher than 3, place kicking has gone up by 6. So he's a bit better at free kicks than normal. That's a pretty boring boost, isn't it? Let's be honest. So yeah, on the whole, attacking fullback, you got a solid card here. The acceleration's not brilliant, but the speed's great at 93. Kicking power's crazy. Stamina at 90. They always go quite high on lower body on the fullback, but I wouldn't want to go below 90 on the stamina, so I'm going to leave that there. So I'm going to leave him with very good speed and fantastic kicking power. Defensively, the defensive awareness is a bit iffy. I want my fullbacks to be a bit more responsive in defensive situations, so it's a bit of a concern, although everything else is 80 plus. Physically strong, like I said, the balance is the one real concern in terms of attributes. That's the one I'd like to be a bit higher. On the ball, he's fine. Passing, it'd be nice if the low pass hit 80, but the loft is at 90, which is great. So 90 lofted pass, 85 curl, 96 kicking power, pinpoint crossing. This guy can cross the ball. From my experience of the one that I've got, great cross on him, and clearly that's the case with this one as well. So yeah, if you like an attacking fullback and you're putting a lot of crosses into the box at the moment, this guy could definitely be an option for you. He can defend, apart from the awareness being a bit on the low side. He's physically strong as well, and that does make a difference. There's plenty to be said for this guy as a fullback. So yeah, would I do much with the way the points are allocated? I mean, like I say, I wouldn't want to go below 12 and low body there. And what's had the next most points allocated to defending? Would I want to go below 80 on tackling? No. I don't think I'll change anything, to be honest. If you wanted to nudge that low pass to 80, the one thing you could do you need 86 physical contact and attacking fullback? No. You could nick a couple off there. In fact, you could take all 4 off there, nudge his low pass up to 80, and then get another one of dexterity, get him a bit more balance. And maybe if you didn't mind the stamina, if you're willing to go a bit lower on the stamina, if you nicked a couple of low body there, you could get 3 more on his dexterity there, so get the balance up to 76. That might be an idea. Personally, I'm a bit, I don't know, I think stamina, I do like to be at the 90 mark. Even at 90, your fullbacks late in the game can start to get a little bit tired, so I don't know if I'd personally do that, but that is an option for you. That is one way you could get the low pass to the 80 mark, and you could get his acceleration, but more importantly, the balance up a little bit. But it's entirely up to you. I think a lot of people might just stick with the auto allocation and say that's fine, and I would say it probably is fine. And then, like I say, skill-wise, got a lot of skills there, some of the most important ones, but if you're going to use this guy a lot, mount marking, blocker, maybe his one-touch passing, through passing. If you gave him all those 4 skills, you could give him, the 5th skill, you could give him anything you want, but those 4 skills, you could have a very solid attacking fullback there, could do a very good job for you. In terms of his other positions, as I mentioned, we'll start at right midfield, so if you just abandon all his defensive ability, you want to use this guy as a right winger, just spam some crosses. We'll just put 1 on passing there. Let's just make him a bit better on the ball. Bit more dexterity. I think I'd probably do just that. I don't think I would do a great deal more. You could say stamina's not quite so important on a winger. Maybe if we nicked a few points, we'd just take a couple of low body. We'd only go from 88 to 86. You're at that mark again on stamina there. You don't end up on 87 unless there's some other kind of boosters in play. That 88 is going to go straight from 86 when you take 1 off. I wouldn't want to do that. That's not so efficient. So I'll leave that there. 6 points. You could go order up there. 94 lofted pass. Let's just take 1 back off there and we put that on dexterity. I'll do that. So 93 lofted, 85 goal, 94 kicking power. Even though I've taken some points off lower body, this guy's crossing is going to be deadly. He's not going to be an amazing dribbler by any means, but he's going to be comfortable on the ball. Got the pace. Got better attacking awareness now, a bit more balance on him. Yeah. Could be a very interesting option as a right winger. When I got my club icons one, I did use him now and then as a right midfielder. I've not used him in ages, to be honest, but when I use him as a right midfielder, you won't be surprised to hear that was to basically just whip some crosses in, and he was very effective at that. He can put a really good cross in. So yeah, whether you want him as a fullback, as a good side all-round fullback who can definitely cross the ball, or if you just focus on his crossing ability even more, use him as a right winger and just get him up and down the right wing, whipping crosses in, could be very effective that way. You won't ever have to play in style right midfield. I've never had an issue with that personally. But yeah, it could be really decent there. And then other positions, you've got centre-back and defensive mid. Can he be a sneaky centre-back? Not really. That defensive awareness is too low. Fully boosted 81. Yikes. Not great. Could we nick points from elsewhere? How good can we get his defensive awareness? Nah. Not for me. And that jumping's terrible at 71 as well. Vertical reach 257. Nah. So defensive awareness sucks, vertical reach sucks. I would not use this guy as a sneaky centre-back. Defensive midfielder, I don't know about his low pass, yeah, so that's the same as when he's trained as a fullback. Yeah, can we spare points from anywhere? Not really, that build's a bit weird. I mean, only 4 on the ball. 4, yeah, so his low pass is dodgy, defensive awareness is a bit iffy. Not great balance, his stamina's taking some points down off his stamina. Defensive mid, not for me. You'd only need to increase the proficiency by 1 on either of those 2 positions there, but I don't think he'd make a great defensive midfielder on the whole. I think for just about everybody, if you get this guy, he could be a very nice cross-spamming right midfielder, or I think for more people, you're just going to be a right back, an attacking right back. And I think as an attacking right back, like I say, if you've got a previous version of him, you might have one that's around about as good as this one, so you might not need this one. But if you don't have a good version, you spin this pack and get this one. And if you like an attacking fullback, he's solid. Yes, the defense awareness is a bit iffy, and be careful with that balance. Like I say, he feels a little bit clunky, a little bit heavy to me when I've used him. But outside of that, he's got just about everything he needs, and he's got a deadly cross on him. So if you like an attacking right back, especially for the English League Challenge, but just in general, this guy could be very decent to have. Into the midfield now, and we've got Enzo Fernández, box-to-box centre midfielder. Got a face scan. That's a weird-looking face scan. Unwavering form on Enzo Fernández. What skills we got? So we got the most important ones on the ball, certainly when he's going forward. Soul control's nice, long range curler and first time shot, nice ones to have. But one touch pass and through passing are crucial. Weighted pass, low lofted pass. He's got all the passing skills. Defensively, that's the problem. So if you're going to get this guy, you're going to use him regularly. I would definitely look to put some defensive skills on him. Interception, I'd say, is absolutely vital. Maybe his blocker, maybe his man marking. But certainly 1 or 2 defensive skills are needed. But going forward, he looks very well equipped. But let's just jump over to eFootball and train him up. We'll see how good this Enzo Fernández card is. It's pretty decent. So yeah, some strengths and some weaknesses here. We've had quite a few versions of Enzo Fernández. There was a Player of the Week version of him back at the World Cup, the last World Cup. That wasn't quite as good as this one. He's had 1 other Player of the Week card, a regular Player of the Week card. Overall ability very similar to this one, but the stats are shuffled around. He's got a slightly different kind of build on him. In terms of trainable versions of Enzo Fernández, we've had a Showtime version. That's obviously the best version we've had of him, that goes without saying. And then in terms of other highlight cards, it's a mixed bag really, but we've had a few versions of him that are slightly better than this one. So it's not the best version we've had of Enzo Fernández. Stats are shuffled around a bit from one version to the next, as you'd expect. So yeah, not the best version. Still a good one though. Compared to his GP card at level 1, what they've boosted the most is his finishing and his speed. Interesting boost. And yeah, like I say, looking pretty good on the whole, but it's how you're going to use this guy. You've got 3 positions here, and we're starting off right in the middle of the centre midfielder. And as you can see, the big strength this guy's got, he's got fantastic passing. On the ball, he's fairly tidy. It's not often you see tight possession higher than ball control and dribbling, but not complaining. Attack awareness sucks a bit, 72. Defensively, defensive awareness and tackling are a bit on the low side as well. That's a bit iffy. How many points they put on defending? 6. We'll see how good we can get that. We'll do a DMF build next. We'll start with that. But yeah, pace decent enough. Good kicking power. Bit lacking in physical strength. Bit lacking in balance. Stamina's good. So yeah, some good, some bad. Plenty in between. But let's just start with the defensive midfield build. We'll go with auto allocation defensive mid. How good would he be as a defensive mid? So yeah, I think you're definitely looking at this guy as a double pivot kind of DMF. He's not going to be your lone DMF because defensive awareness 81, tackling 81, physical contact 75. This guy's not going to do the job of a Vieira or like a Rijkaard or a Zakaria, for example. If you want a real defensive midfielder to sit in front of your defense and protect it, this is not the guy. Not the biggest, not the strongest, not the best defensively, but in some kind of double pivot, still just about okay on the ball. Passing still really nice as a defensive mid. And if you've got someone alongside him doing a lot of the defensive work with him, the defenses are passable. Still a little bit lacking physical strength and the bounce is a bit iffy. But yeah, on the whole, in some kind of double pivot with one or more other midfielders doing defensive work, yeah, it could be fine as an all-rounder. I would have no problem with that. I wouldn't change a great deal with that build. But going back into the middle, move up the pitch a bit as a centre midfielder, go back to the auto allocation that we started with. Do you need the passing that high? It's getting a bit subjective. I've always said that around about the 90 mark is fine for me. Passing is more important since the update. Would you want more than 90? Maybe. If you do, then you might want to leave it as it is, but that's where they've allocated the most points, and he does need a few points elsewhere. So I'm going to go down to the 90 mark on low pass. That gives us 12 points to play with, and it's a question of what do you want to beef up? Do you want more defensive ability in the middle of the park? He gets tackling almost at 80. Sorry, you'd have to nick a point from elsewhere to get to the 80 mark. I don't know. I think we'll just focus on this occasion. For this build, we'll focus on just kind of being an all-rounder and being more of an offensive midfielder than a defensive one. So we'll leave the defensives there. We've actually nicked one from there. Leave the engagement at 80 at least. That's nice to hit the 80 mark. There's nothing on aerial, so we'll put 4 on aerial. I'm going to put another 4 on dexterity because we want more attacking awareness in the box-to-box. We're left with 2 points to play with, and I put them on... I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take 1 back from physical, and that gives us 3 points, and that means we can get up to 80 for balance and get another 1 attacking awareness. As a box-to-box midfielder, assuming you've got other midfielders behind him doing defensive work, yeah, I think that's what I'd do. So we've got a bit more physical strength, balance up to the 80 mark, still got good stamina there. Yes, he's not brilliant defensively, but we've done a defensive build. This is more of an all-round build, but he's going to get forward more. We're going to focus more on his attacking ability. Attacking awareness significantly improved. Tidy enough on the ball, passing good. He's got the passing skills as well. I think for me, as a centre mid box-to-box, that's pretty much the build that I would do on this guy. Like I say, I mean, if you're going to make him defensive mid, the defensive skills are super important. Even as a centre mid, though, I would definitely look to give him interception. I think interception is very, very important on a box-to-box centre mid. I like to have man marking blocker as well. Not as important. It's going to depend on what kind of midfield system you use. Do you use a diamond? Do you play a 4-4-2 with only 2 centre mids? Everyone's got different kind of tactics and stuff. But yeah, certainly interception you would need. But getting him on the ball, he's got the passing skills. So yeah, going forward, he could be very tidy. And you can use him as an attacking mid. I've looked at 1 or 2 previous versions of Enzo Fernández. When you make him an attack midfielder, he can be very interesting. So let's just nick all these points back from defending. I'm not sure how good this guy's going to be as an attacking mid. I'm going to put his points all on dexterity, actually. I think as an attacking mid, it's good to have a bit of attacking awareness. If you do that, no points left to play with there. Finishing only at 70. He's tidy enough on the ball, but not amazing. For an attacking mid, he'd probably want a bit more than that. So yeah, could you make him an attacking mid? You won't have an active playing style. I'd like a bit more on finishing. I'd like it to be a bit better with the ball control and dribbling. Yeah, got some qualities there for sure. Still going to be nice at passing, but for me as an attacking mid, I don't think that's really the best way to use him. I don't think he'd be a particularly amazing attacking midfielder. I think most people probably have better options there. And then in terms of positions, all you've got left really is that you could train him as a wide midfielder. Could you make him a right mid? Has he got pinpoint crossing? No. So if you gave him pinpoint crossing, position training for the right, box to box will be an active playing style as a wide midfielder, right or left. So we'll start on the right. He's got the passing already there. Don't think we need to do a great deal really. I'd be inclined to maybe just nick a few off dexterity and just give him a bit more speed. You get that kicking barrel with it as well. Yeah, I don't know. Tidy enough on the ball. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, you'd have a very nice cross on him. 91 lofted pass there. Not a great deal of curl. Good kicking power. Reasonable pace. Great stamina. Is this guy a right midfielder to you? I don't know. I don't really fancy him. I'm just not sure. I don't think he'd be too great on the ball. Not great pace. Not great balance. I don't know. Personally, I'm not sure. You got the option, but not for me. Left midfielder. He's got long range curler. First time shot as well, but his finishing's not great. Could you spare the points to get his finishing up? You can nick. I mean, you could take all those points of passing and get his finishing up to what, 78? Yeah, you could do that. Again, though, do you see him as a left mid? Is that where you want to use your Enzo Fernández box-to-box playing style, cutting in from the left wing? I don't know. I'm not sure that's what many people want to do. I think for the vast majority of people, this guy is going to be a centre midfielder. Maybe someone will put him as a DMF in some kind of double pivot, something like that. But I think this version of Enzo Fernández certainly is a centre midfielder, more attack-minded than anything because he's not brilliant defensively and he lacks defensive skills. So, yeah, give him interception. I think as a centre mid especially, he could be a solid option for you. The one strength he does have more than anything is going to have fantastic passing on him. So, yeah, some strengths and some one or two weaknesses. A few attributes I'd like to be able to make a bit higher in any position. But certainly for the English League Challenge, could be a very, very solid option for a number of midfield roles, especially centre mid. And just in general, if you want a good version of Enzo Fernández, you might already have a better one. But if you don't and you want one, you could definitely do a job for you. Maybe not great defensively and physically, but getting him on the ball that passing ability. Could be a very tidy one for a lot of people. Got a couple of attacking midfielders in this pack. Let's start with Cole Palmer. So Cole Palmer has a face scan, of course. He's a creative playmaker. He used to be a whole player. We've had a few whole player versions. B form at the moment, unwavering form as well, as you probably expect at this point. He's a left footer. Skill wise, Cole Palmer, what we got? So soul control, we've got long range curl, long range shooting, first time shot, so we've got some shooting skills, then we've got one touch pass, through passing, so got shooting, got the passing, got most of the skills you need really. Could probably do with outside curl. He's not particularly 2-footed at all. He doesn't want to use his weaker foot, so yeah, I would definitely look to give him outside curler. But yeah, you got the passing, got the shooting, got most of what you need really. Let's train him up, let's see how good he is. Let's go over to eFootball Hub. So how good is this Cole Palmer card? It's looking pretty tidy. We've had a fair few versions of Cole Palmer at this point. We've had 4 Player of the Week cards. 2 of them are creative playmakers. 2 of them whole players. The 2 whole player versions are better. None of these Player of the Week cards are quite as good as this card. The best Player of the Week card he's had is a whole player. And it does run it pretty close, not far off. But this is probably just about better than all those 4 Player of the Week cards. He's had a couple of Showtime cards. Both whole player. Both better than this card. Although one of them, the older one, is not that much better. There's not a massive difference. There was a match pass version of Cole Palmer a while back. I think it was a couple of months ago, maybe. Around about the same overall as this one. If you got that one, I would say you probably don't need this one. And there's the one, of course, from the penalty game. That one's not quite as good as this card. Not a massive difference, but this is better. And then there's one other highlight version of Cole Palmer. That's the only trainable whole player version apart from his Showtime cards. That was from quite a while back. I think it was in the... Was that in the pack with the big update last year when we got the contract renewal spins, whatever you want to call it? I've got that one. It's not quite as good as this card though. So yeah, mixed bag in terms of other versions of Palmer. You might have one that's better than this. You might have one that's not as good. What they boosted from his GP card. So from his GP card at level 1, it's quite a mixed boost, but the attributes they boosted the most: lofted pass, finishing, 88 finishing, nice. Speed, and there's a bit on physical contact as well. So those are the attributes that have boosted the most on his Cole Palmer card. And yeah, he looks pretty tidy. You've got a few ways you can use him though. It's a question of where you're going to play him. As a creative playmaker, that playing style will be active in all of his fully proficient positions except for centre forward. So centre forward, he won't have an active playing style, but he'll be a creative playmaker at SS, attacking mid, right wing forward, and right midfield. Let's start as an attacking midfielder. As an attacking midfielder, on auto allocation, great on the ball, low pass. It'd be nice to hit 90 for low pass. Let's immediately do that. We'll just nick one from dribbling, straight on passing, bosh, easy. Great attacking awareness. Finishing is great. 88 on an attacking midfielder, that's good. As you probably expect that on Cole Palmer. And he's got the shooting skills as well. Long range curler, long range shooting and first time shot. 88 finishing, yikes, this guy can hit a long shot. And of course he can finish from inside the box as well. Pace, not amazing, but he's got decent acceleration on him. Balance is not brilliant. You may notice that he's not great physical strength, although they have boosted that a bit. Yeah, he's looking pretty tidy. I've got a couple of versions of Palmer. I've got the one from the penalty game, is it? I think, and the old whole player one from quite a while back. You do notice the fact he's quite tall. He's about 6'3" almost, 6'2", 6'3". He's quite tall, quite leggy, and you do find with a lot of players like that with that kind of physical profile, they do feel a little bit awkward on the ball. And I do find that a bit with Palmer. He does have very good on the ball attributes though, which do compensate to some extent, but I don't like dribbling with him a great deal. So you might find that as well. You may or may not. I don't know. It's down to you. But yeah, something to keep in mind. He is quite tall and his balance isn't brilliant as well. Has he got fighting spirit? No, I would give him. Yeah, I'd maybe think about giving this guy fighting spirit. It could be worth having on Cole Palmer. So yeah, not a physical strength. Balance isn't brilliant, but the pace is all right. And these technicals, that's the thing with Cole Palmer. He's going to be tidy on the ball. He's going to be very comfortable in possession, even if he's a bit leggy. And he's got good passing and that's shooting as well. Very nice. So yeah, as an attacking midfielder, I don't think I'd change a great deal. I don't think it's really necessary. You could spare a couple of his on the ball attributes if you wanted to. There's one on defending there. You could go 3 higher on low body again, not just more speed, but you see that last increase in low body. We go 86 to 88 on kicking power. That's nice. Get a bit of kicking power behind his shots. Very nice. 1 point left. Stick on aerial, I guess. Yeah, I'd probably do that just to round him out a bit. Not as good in the ball as the auto allocation, but still 90 plus in all 3 of those. Got that low pass to 90. A bit more speed, but more importantly, a bit more kicking power behind his shots. So he can have good passing, but he's got very good shooting for an attacking midfielder. And if you moved him a bit further up the pitch as an SS, would he change much? I mean, you've got really good attacking awareness and finishing is at 88. I don't think you need to change anything really. I mean, You could make his finishing even better quite easily, but I don't think I would. I think I would leave that build as it is as an SS. You can get him on the ball and be comfortable on the ball. Passing, yeah. Shooting, absolutely. Very tidy as an SS. I think it could be a very decent option there. Which we'll go for a centre forward or right wing. Let's start at centre forward. Let's push him right up to centre forward. So as a centre forward, rather than go to auto allocation, I'm just going to do this manually. So we'll take a few points back off passing. Get 90 finishing. Can we get 90 attacking awareness? Oh, nearly. One aerial there. Just need one more point, Nick. One more of passing. Thank you. Yeah, centre forward. Maybe. I mean, do you need him to be that good as a centre forward? I mean, he's going to be playing without an active playing style. It's hard to really describe how a centre forward will play without an active playing style. I would say it's most similar to a fox in the box, quite neutral. They will make attacking runs, not as aggressively as a goal poacher. You won't drop as deep as a deep line forward. They'll be quite neutral with their movement, their positioning. So it's kind of down to you where you kind of prioritise in terms of where you want to put the points, which attributes you want to boost. It's nice to have 90 plus and all the on the ball attributes. That's rare for a centre forward. Got the awareness and finishing at 90. Nice passing for a centre forward. He's got those passing skills, of course. Maybe you want to give him a bit more speed. You could maybe nick a few off his dribbling there and get his speed up to 88. Could maybe do that. Could do maybe a couple of points on physical. He's going to have centre backs around him. Centre backs tend to be very physically strong, so yeah, you could do with a bit more physical strength maybe. Where could you get the points for that? Maybe just take them back from my body, to be honest. Something like that. I don't know. It depends whether you're happy playing a striker without an active playing style. It depends if you want to use Cole Palmer as a centre forward, which, I don't know, he's got the skills for it. First time shot, long as go, long as shooting. Sure, he's not got anything in terms of heading, arrow superiority. He's not got acrobatic finishing either, but I think he's pretty well equipped out of the box as a centre forward. He could be an interesting one. Like I say, one of an active playing style that might bother you. It's a matter of opinion. I don't mind it really. I've used quite a few strikers without an active playing style and they've been fine for me. Certainly in terms of the attributes, though, you can shuffle the points around this way and that way, but he could potentially be a very interesting option as a centre forward, so that's definitely an option you got there. He's already fully proficient at centre forward. And then on the wings, we'll start on the right, so inverted winger. Let's just go auto allocation for this one. Say right wing forward. Pace is one thing you need, so yeah, again, they've gone quite heavy on the ball. Let's nick a few points back up from his on the ball attributes. Let's get him a bit quicker. Get to 88 at least for his speed. Got a point on defending again, thank you. One more dexterity. Can we get and a bit more dexterity? We can nick a couple from passing. Yeah, so we can get to 88 speed, 88 acceleration. The kicking power is over 90. Bounce at 84 is a bit better than auto allocation. On the ball is fine. The passing's not as brilliant, but he's a wide man now. It's not as important. Attacking away is 89. Finishing 88. Coming off that right wing, like I say, he's quite a tall, leggy guy. You will notice that. It depends on just how do you like to dribble and how you like to dribble. For some people, he might be fine on the ball. He's definitely got the attributes on the ball there, the technicals. For me, like I say, I've never been too comfortable with the tall, leggy players with dribbling. I've got Rivaldo, who's kind of decent, but that's Rivaldo, obviously. But I think it just comes down to you. Do you like the tall, leggy players? If you prefer your wide guys to be kind of quick and nimble and have that low centre of gravity, he may not be for you. But if you don't mind a tall guy in those areas, he's definitely got decent pace. He's definitely got the on-the-ball attributes. And when it comes to the awareness and the finishing, and he's got the passing skills out of the box as well. Long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot. Coming off that right wing could be very, very interesting. And then you got left wing. Could you make him a left winger? Could you bounce him crosses? He's not got pinpoint crossing, as you know. So if you gave him pinpoint crossing and if you position training for left midfield, forget about the finishing. We just want to spam some crosses. Yeah, I'm not sure how effective he's going to be. You'd have to lose a bit of pace, basically. And then his lofted can go up to 84. So if you gave him pinpoint crossing and he position training for the left, 84 lofted, 81 curl, 89 kicking power. He won't have an amazing cross on him, but he'll have a decent one. Got a little bit of pace about him. Going to be tidy on the ball. Yeah, I don't know. Creative playmaker play style will still be active. For some people, it could be worth doing. If you really want a Cole Palmer left winger, he's a left footer, and like I say, with pinpoint crossing, you could have a decent cross on him. But is it worth the position of skill trainers? I don't know. I don't know many people would really look at Cole Palmer and think that's what you want to do with him. But certainly, you do have that option. It could be a decent option, but I would just leave him on auto allocation as an AMF. And yeah, like I say, the two Showtime versions are a bit better. But outside of that, it's probably about as good as we've had for a Cole Palmer card. And you've got a bunch of ways you can use him for the English League Challenge. Very useful option. He's versatile, but just in terms of the overall ability, I think even outside the English League Challenge, He could be a very handy one to have as an attacking midfielder. Technically very sound. He's obviously got the passing, but that finishing especially is not many attacking mids. Certainly not many creative playmakers who've got their attack awareness that high and their finishing with all those shooting skills as well. So it's got a pass on him, but he's certainly got a shot as well. I think it pretty much goes without saying that objectively it's the best card in the pack, and I think for a lot of people, if you do spin this pack, this might be a very nice card for you to pick up. And the other attacking midfielder in the pack is Nkunku. He is also a creative playmaker, and he's also got a face scan, of course. They've got face scans, these players. Inconsistent form is a bit of a downer with Nkunku. That stamina as well is always pretty bad on him. 66 stamina at level 1. Ouch. Skill-wise, we've got one touch and through down there. Got the passing, heel chicken outside curler, nice ones to have. Long range curler, could maybe do a first time shot long range shooting, but I think to be fair, coming out of the box, you've got a pretty good selection of skills on this guy. You've got a few positions you can use him in though. Let's train him up. Let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is he? So we're starting as an attack midfielder. And again, like with Palmer, he's pretty tidy. Maybe he's not quite on Palmer's level, certainly not got the finishing, but yeah, the passing's reasonable with one touch pass and through passing. Fantastic on the ball. I think the first thing you're going to do is you're probably going to want to beef his passing up if you're going to use him as an attack midfielder. I wouldn't use this guy as a centre midfielder. I mean, he can't defend. He's not strong physically. I think a crazy player now without an active playing style as well. But as an attack midfielder, got to get the passing up. I think the first thing I'm going to do, take some points off dribbling, straight into passing, low pass up to 90. You've got 3 points left. Do you want to get a bit more kicking power, or would you rather actually nick a point from there and get his shooting up to 80? I would personally do that. You don't need so much speed in an attacking midfielder, especially a creative playmaker. But yeah, finishing up to 80, low pass up to 90, still 90 plus on his on the ball attributes, even if we nicked a few points from there. Attacking awareness over 80, great balance. Yeah, it could be very tidy. You would probably want to put the counter target instruction on him, because otherwise he would tired after about 5 minutes. That stamina is horrendous. Otherwise, you could give him the super sub skill and just use him as a super sub. But either way, that stamina, he's not going to last the distance. That's something to really keep in mind. That's the big weakness with Nkunku. And it's not the first time. He's never had particularly great stamina, I don't think, on eFootball. I've had a few versions of him. He's had a Player of the Week card. That was a left midfielder with the creative playmaker playing style. Quite similar overall, I'd say, to this card. If you look at it, obviously he's got a bunch of positions. Whether you're playing through the middle or wide left, I wouldn't say there's a great deal of difference. In some positions, his Player of the Week card does go to a higher rating, but I don't consider he's that much better. I think he's fairly similar to this one, to be honest. The stats are shuffled around a bit. I've had a few highlight versions of Nkunku, and to be honest, most of them are slightly better than this one overall, so this is not the best version of Nkunku. Still a very decent card though, apart from that horrible stamina, of course. Compared to his GP card, it's quite a mixed boost and nothing really stands out. I don't see any attributes being boosted that much higher than the rest of them, really. So yeah, as an attack midfielder, like I say, shuffling the points around like I did just there, I think that's what I would do. And I think with the passing skills, the low pass up to 90, very tidy on the ball, even after nicking those points from there. He's got a shot on him as well. I think he could be very decent there. Just that stamina's a big concern. For me to move him a bit higher up the pitch, I don't think I'd do anything. Same with Cole Palmer. I think the build I've done here, as an SS, I would leave it like that. You could potentially get his shooting up a bit, but where are you going to get the points from? Certainly can't really afford to take much speed away from him. Do you want to lose a bit of attack awareness? Maybe. I guess he could do that. Is it worth doing that to get his shooting up? Not going to make a massive difference. You could do that, but yeah, whether you do that or do the same thing I did for attack mid as an SS, again, creative playmaker playing style, still active. Could be very decent there. Could be handy. Let's go centre forward first, because you could position train this guy for centre forward. I'm going to ask the auto allocation, because I'm not sure his finishing and awareness are going to go high enough. Nah. So awareness 86, finishing 82. Yikes, not great. Outstanding acceleration and balance. Good kicking power. Speed's decent at 88. Giving him a bit of physical strength on auto allocation, but finishing 82, not for me. He's certainly got a lot of qualities there, but the most important ones, attack awareness and finishing. Yeah, they're not quite hitting the mark. You can nick those 4 aerial points there. You can nick all those off dribbling even, but even then you only get 2 more on finishing. It's not worth it for me. I don't think anyone's really going to look at this guy and think he's going to be a great centre forward option. Again, he won't have an active playing style as a centre forward. So yeah, centre forward, not for me. Wide left, let's go back to auto allocation and see what they say for left wing. So yeah, fantastic on the ball, great acceleration, kicking power, great balance. It's got a bit more stamina this time. Still not great though, speed up to 88. Attacking awareness is decent, passing not so important out wide, so I've lost some points from there, but like I say, out wide is not as important. He does have one touch pass and through passing. Finishing 78, it'd be nice to have a couple more on that. He's obviously a right footer, playing on the left, he'll be cutting inside onto his right foot. He does have long range curler, so to really make the most of the long range curler skill, you might want to nudge that finishing up a little bit. I think the easiest way is to nick a couple off dribbling, actually. Easy. Would you take it more off dribbling? I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to, because I want a bit more lower body, a bit more speed and a bit more stamina there. Still got 2 points, actually. Stick on passing. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So yeah, it's not what everyone would want to do, but you can take a bunch of points off his on the ball attributes there. Keep it 90 plus in all three of those. Dribbling 93 is going to be very nice on the ball. You've got his speed up to the 90 mark. You do need pace on the wide man, of course. Balance 93. He's got a great kicking power behind his shots. Finishing's at 80. Low pass 83 with one touch pass and through passing skills. Yeah, wide left could be very handy. The stamina's not as terrible as it was when we looked at him as an attacking midfielder, but it's still in the 70s, so he is going to get tired. That is something to keep in mind. Like I say, you might want to consider giving the super sub skill. Bring this guy on as a super sub, wide left or through the middle, depending how you train him and where you want to play him. Could be very handy. Certainly got a lot of qualities. So there's 1 or 2 areas where you might want to be a bit concerned. That stamina is really the one main area, but he's got some good skills, and through the middle and wide left, very handy card. This could be very decent, but like I say, it's not the best version of Nkunku. So if you've got a good version of Nkunku, you may well have a better one. It's not the best version of him, but still a very tidy looking card, to be honest. And then wide right, that lofted past 77. I don't know if you're going to... I mean, you can position training for right midfield. He's not got pinpoint crossing, so if you're position training for right midfield, if you gave him pinpoint crossing, can we spare the points to make him a decent cross spammer? It's debatable. Yeah, a similar situation to Cole Palmer, really. So we've got the lofted pass at the same mark, 84. Still tidy on the ball, decent pace. He could, to be fair, actually. He does look decent as a right midfielder. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, he won't have amazing crossing. 84 lofted. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, he'll have a decent cross. Not amazing, but decent. A little bit of curl on it. Good kicking power. On the ball, balance, decent pace. Yeah, definitely an option there if you wanted to use him on the right of midfield and have him whipping some crosses in, give him pinpoint crossing, position training for the right. Like I say, his crossing won't be amazing, but it will be decent. So you do have that option. I'm not sure many people would want to use this guy in that way. I think for most people, whether you use him through the middle, I'll leave him on left wing forward, auto allocation. Whether you have him through the middle, playmaking, or off the left wing, coming inside into his right foot. He's got good skills with his passing, and he's got long range curler, pace on the ball. You can make him good at passing. You can give him a decent finish on him. Yeah, there's a few ways you could use this guy. Just that stamina is probably the one thing I would personally give him super sub, and I'd probably more often not use him as a super sub and bring him on second half. Could be very handy that way, but even from the start, you would have to sub him off at some point when he gets tired, but he's got qualities, this guy. It's not the best Nkunku card, but it's quite versatile. Again, English League Challenge, could be a versatile card to have, could be very handy. It's not a great deal of form though. He's not playing a great deal for Chelsea, so that's one concern, that's something to keep in mind as well. So there's 1 or 2 things to keep in mind, 1 or 2 negatives with this card, and it's not the best version of him as well, but plenty of qualities as well. And if you do pick this card off, you don't already have a good version of Nkunku, yeah, it could be one to give you some value. It could be a decent card, this. We finish up with the only striker in the pack. So we've got Nicolas Jackson, who has a face scan. He's 6'2". He's only got standard form, goal poacher. Not got many skills, so there's a big concern right away. So scissors, feint, cut behind zone, soul track, right finishing. Yeah, we really need some skills on this guy. First and foremost, first time shot. That's the most important skill in the centre forward. You desperately need to give this guy first time shot. I'd probably give him long range curler. You might want to possibly give him heading, aerial superiority if you want to make him decent. Yeah, he's 6'2". I'm not sure how good the aerial attributes are going to get though, but let's find out. Let's go to the eFootball hub and we'll train him up. So yeah, it's kind of an all-rounder. He's got the awareness, got the finishing, good pace. Yeah, he's got a bit of everything. It's a decent looking Jackson card, this. So this is actually the best version of Jackson we've had. We've had a couple of Player of the Weeks, a couple of trainable versions. This is the best version we've had. One of his Player of the Week cards was actually quite decent. Not far off this one, but this one is better. The one thing that Player of the Week card does have over this one is it's got much better passing. Apart from that, though, yeah, this is the best version of Jackson we've had. The biggest boost on any of his attributes at level 1 compared to his GP card. Tight possession, which is still not high, so he did need that. And physical contact, which is now hitting the 80 mark, which is nice. Apart from that, pretty mixed boost. But yeah, what we're looking at here, I think, is a very decent centre forward. He's definitely got the awareness there. The finishing's hitting the 90 mark. He's decent enough on the ball for a goal poacher. It would be nice if he hit 80 for ball control, but it's not the end of the world to be at 79. Passing, passing not the most important thing for a goal poacher. It would be nice if it was higher, but it's not often you have good passing on a goal poacher. Pace is good, speed and acceleration both 93. decent amount of kicking power behind his shots. As I mentioned, physical contact hitting the 80 mark. Balance isn't amazing. I'd like to be a bit higher. Reasonable stamina on him. But yeah, there's the one concern for you. You are lacking skills on this guy. So first time shot and long range curler, I think are the first two you'd want to put on him. And then beyond that, yeah, I don't think there's anything he desperately needs. Maybe his fighting spirit. It's kind of down to you. It depends how you use him. Do you want to put some skill moves on him? If you do a lot of skill moves, then yeah, you might want to do that. Maybe double touch. Maybe soul control. If you're not so bothered about skill moves, maybe his fighting spirit. Maybe his heel trick, outside curler. He doesn't overly need outside curler, but still can be a handy one to have. But yeah, first time shot and long range curler, I think are the most important ones. And then, like I say, heading and aerial superiority, is it worth putting those on him? He's 6'2", jumping 75. So on auto allocation, what you got for vertical reach? 267. It's not brilliant, but it's not too bad either. So yeah, and heading at the 80 mark, he could get the end of 1 or 2 crosses for you. So giving him heading and aerial superiority might be worth doing. But yeah, in terms of the way the points are allocated, I don't know how much I change here. Attacking awareness, you could spare a couple off there and leave it at the 90 mark, but do you want to go below 77 on balance? I don't know. And on lower body, you could spare some off speed, but do you want to dip below 88? Because you go one low on there's a lower body there. You're going to lose 2. You're going to go from 88 to 86. I'm not sure really. If you're not really to bother about his aerial ability, if you don't really put cross into the box, you can nick those points off aerial. You could nudge his ball control to 80, and you could stick a couple on. You could put another one as on the ball attributes, I guess. You could maybe do that. That'd be quite tempting for me. If I'm going to be putting a lot of cross in the box, I'm going to put someone who's really good in the air up front. I'm not going to have someone up front who's just kind of okay in the air. I like my strikers to be particularly good at certain things. So yeah, with this guy, I think where you got the pace, the awareness, and the finishing, you're going to be trying to get him in behind the defence and get him taking chances that way. I'm not going to be personally worrying about his aerial ability that way. So I think I'd like to make him a little bit better on the ball there. It's not a massive change, obviously, either way. But yeah, I think as a goal poacher, using that way, putting through was in behind the defence, you're going to desperately need to give him 1 or 2 skills there. But even if you just gave him first time shot, long range curler, the kind of attributes he's got with the auto allocation, or even just shuffled slightly the way I've done there, could be very tidy. I'd like a bit more balance on him. It'd be nice if he had a bit more, slightly better passing. I mean, one touch pass and through passing would help if you want to put those skills on him. But yeah, the pace, the awareness and finishing, goal poacher playing style, he could be very handy. And like I say, it's the best version of Nicolas Jackson that we've had. His form's been up and down actually. I didn't realise he had that many D forms this season. I thought he'd been pretty decent on the whole for Chelsea, but he has been inconsistent, obviously. But he's had quite a few A's and B's there. So yeah, could be a tidy one, especially for that English League challenge. Could be a very tidy centre forward option. You just need to give him the skills. Outside the English League challenge, is he good enough to get in his squad for divisions and stuff? Could be. If you got a load of beefy legend cards, double boosters and so on, then yeah, probably not. But outside of that, especially if you're a free to play type and you mainly have just highlight cards and so on, it could be a very handy option as a goal poacher. And if you did want to look at that aerial ability, as I always do, if we just nick a few points from elsewhere, just to see if you could make him an aerial threat. Let's just take everything off there. Just go all in on the aerial. How good can we actually make this guy in the air? Make him pretty decent actually. So the last couple on there was about 273 jumping height. Is that worth doing? I don't know. If you're spamming a lot of crosses in, you can still leave him with decent awareness, decent finishing, still good pace. You can get his jump up to 85, physical contact 89, which does help with winning headers. Heading at 89 as well. If you give him heading and aerial superiority, the vertical reach is not amazing, but he could be pretty decent. Would I do that? No, I don't think so. I think for me personally, I'd leave him on auto allocation and focus on what he's really best at. But certainly, if you did build in that way, give him heading and aerial superiority as well as first time shot. If you do put a lot of cross into the box, then he could be effective for you that way. But I think for most people, just to leave him on auto allocation, pace, awareness, finishing. I think as a goal poacher, yes, the balance is a little bit low. He might not be brilliant with his ball control type possession, but on the whole, I think he's decent enough on the ball. I don't think the passing's too important. I think you could probably get away with that balance as well. I think the strengths he's got as a goal poacher, if you gave him the skills which he desperately needs, I think it can be a very tidy centre forward to pick up. I think certainly for the English League challenge, but even outside of it, a lot of the free-to-play types, if you don't have too many kind of beefy top-tier strikers, this guy could be a very decent option if you gave him the right skills. So there's your Chelsea pack. I think that's a decent pack. You got a few decent cards in there. Sánchez, your goalie, he's a big dude. He might have amazing goalie attributes, but the awareness and reflexes are pretty decent. He's got good coverage of his goal with the size he's got, his long arms and stuff. So yeah, could be a solid keeper, at least for the English League challenge. You got 2 centre-backs in there. Levi Colwill, Levi, however you say it. They've added some skills, which is quite interesting, and he's a very solid looking centre-back. Fofana especially, solid as well, but he's got that jumping. I'm not sure many people will realise that at first. If we really look at him though, the vertical reach in this guy, it could be a tidy one to have against a lot of the people who are spamming crosses at the moment. You got Reece James is a very solid looking attacking right back. He's pretty much par for the course for a good Reece James card. Enzo Fernández, not brilliant physically or defensively, but certainly technically you get him on the ball. His passing looks like it could be very, very, very nice. And likewise, Nkunku and Palmer, depending how you train them, whether it's the passing, the shooting, or being nice on the ball, which especially Nkunku looks like he would be. Got two versatile players you can play out wide or through the middle in Palmer and Nkunku. Nkunku certainly is not the best version of him, but they're both still decent cards. Could be very nice ones to have. And then Nicolas Jackson, who we just looked at. Pacey, got the awareness of finishing as the best version of Wesley Jackson. Desperately needs skills though, but if you give him the right skills, could be a very useful centre forward. So yeah, there you go. I think it's an interesting pack. I think especially for Chelsea fans, but even for people who don't support Chelsea, they could well be some cards and they're worth having. And hopefully they keep giving us more of these club selections. They used to be every week. Now it just seems like every now and then we get one. Why not give us give us these packs every week? A different team every week. There's enough teams in the game. Come on, Konami. It gives you more coins and it gives us more packs that we might want to spin. So yeah, hopefully more of these. Hopefully you found this useful, this video. Let me know what you think of the pack. And thank you for watching as always. I'll be back on Thursday for Player of the Week, so hopefully I'll see you then. Have a fantastic week. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.